Okay, hello YouTube. Gonna do another speed lab. This is like a actual series now. I'm gonna keep on going. YouTube, yep, let's go. Actual series. Okay, let's talk about Kaz. First, I think the best thing I have to talk about, which I already kind of talked about before, but I'm going to talk again, of course, is how to deal with this shit, right? This, because everyone, literally everyone says, what the fuck do I do? This is so fucking cheap. Kazuya's a bitch. He kinda is. We have to be honest here. But yeah, what you have to do in this case is you have to consider your options. You have 3 wake-up options here, which are the best ones. One is holding back, which will make you get mixed up by the cell sweep. One is tech roll to the left. Always tech roll to the left, right? Like this. Which will also get you mixed up by the hell sweep. You're in the guess, basically. So you have to duck this. And when you tech roll, make sure you hold down back. Because if the Kazuya player times it correctly, you don't have time to get up and then hold down back. So hold down back when you tech roll to guess this correctly. These 2 options, of course, make you go in the mix-up. But the third option is one of the best ones, in my opinion, is this. You see that? Side roll to the left. You gotta purposely side roll to the left though. Just like that. Look at this as a punish. Million damage. So purposefully side roll to the left, just like this, and you can get this kind of punish. If you side roll to the right, this happens. This shit. So this is one of the best options you can do, because then the Kazuya player is forced to do something about your side rolling, which is most of the time a forward, 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 something like this. Wait. And when this happens, of course, the situation kinda resets a little bit, but you're really far away most of the time, as you can see. Look at the distance. So if you hold back there, it's gonna be even more distance. So it's a little bit riskier for Kazuya player to go for the mix-up after this. So that's why I think that's one of the best options. Not to mention, if you force the Kazuya player to do forward, forward, forward here, if you choose to do a tech roll or hold back, you'll block it and get back to neutral. So basically, no more mix-ups, you're going back to neutral, doing your stuff. So yeah, those are the 3 options that you have, and most of the time I would suggest first to do the side roll left, and then switch it up sometimes. Kazuya understand. Exactly. Exactly. Either go back to neutral, you can continue pressure, but you know, do your shtick. Okay. I talked about hell sweep, which is like the main thing, right? Let's talk about the other main thing, which is electric. Now, how do you deal with this move in the neutral when people are just spamming it, right? They're just spamming it in neutral as a keep out move. You have to think of it like this. This is a keep out move. They're trying to keep you out through this when they're doing this. So what happens here? I'm doing like 1 electric. Fuck, I can't do electric suddenly. What the fuck, I was just doing them. There you go. They're just in neutral backdashing like this, right? And you see an electric come out. And you're like, oh shit, electric came out, I'm too late, I can't punish it. That's okay. But what you have to do automatically, after you see an electric, is what I would suggest literally against anyone with an... If you're playing against someone with an electric, this is what I would suggest. You see electric come out, and it whiffs, right? It's like a keep out. What the fuck, I can't do electrics. There you go. You have to be thinking, oh, another one may be coming, or another button may be coming. So after electric on whiff, get ready for another button. Lord. So if something like this happens, you have to be punishing it 100% of the time. Almost 100% of the time anyway. And Armor King gets a very easy punish on it too. 4-2-1 is very easy to do. Of course you can Dark Upper it too. If you're expecting it, it's pretty easy to Dark Upper. But that's what I'm saying. Always expect a button after electric on whiff. If they do it, punish them. If they don't do it, who cares, right? They're just not gonna do it, just continue playing the game. That's what I would suggest on electric keep outs. The first one is pretty hard to punish, but if you like predict them, like you're like doing this, right? And you're like, oh, he's most likely gonna do an electric. Make it whiff and punish it. What I would not suggest doing is doing this. I would not suggest doing that. Dash duck. One, because you may mistime it, the electric will catch your dash. It will hit you. I do not recommend that. That's one of the reasons I do not. The second one is if the Kazuya player decides to do a forward 4-3 as a mix-up, it will catch you because you won't be able to react to it because you're ducking in electric. So I do not recommend ducking electrics in neutral like that. I kind of recommend ducking them on the hard read when it's like something like this, right? They do something like this, or I don't know, something like this. Something like that. Or if he blocks something and you think he's gonna try to punish it with an electric, you can try to duck it there. But in the neutral, I would not recommend ducking it. What I would recommend is either stepping it outside of ducking, right? In the neutral, it's actually a little bit easier to step than like normal situations. Like if I do 1-2 electric, it's almost impossible to step this. But in the neutral, it's a lot easier to step. Something like this. But in close-up, as you can see, it trades a little bit better. But in the neutral, it's a little bit easier. But normally, as I said in the first time, against electrics I recommend to make them whiff and punish them. Not to try to step them, but I'm just saying that stepping is a better option than ducking, because it will also step a forward 1. Although I wouldn't recommend it that much either, but sometimes I do that. Okay. Yeah, in the neutral, keep out electrics, that's how we deal with them. You predict them, you one, and try to punish it. Or if you can't, it's fine. If you do this, just expect another one and punish the second one. You have to punish the second one. If you don't punish the second one, you're making a mistake. Step block and pray, then that's a bad option, because you're praying for something not to happen. It's a bad option. You have to space it, which is what I believe is the best option. Or you can do a high crush option as well. Like go in with a down 4, for example, with Armor King. Can be decent. Or this, which also has high crushing. Can be also decent. Okay. That's about electrics. Electric pressure. Oh, let's talk about the electric on block as well. Electric on block, as you can see, is +5. But the mix-up here, most of the time, is very, very simple. Very simple. It's either another electric gonna come out instantly. Oh, I can't do electric suddenly. Like that. Which will interrupt any button you do. You can't press anything here. Like that. Unless something weird like that happens, that's weird. But yeah. Either a double electric is gonna happen. Or an electric into Waifu mix-up. Some Kazuya players like me, I kinda do back 4 sometimes. Some might do electric into forward 3. But all of them can be interrupted. All of them can be interrupted very easily. And the thing is, it's not that bad of an idea to interrupt him. Unless he goes for double electric. But, as I mentioned, if he does double electric, you have to be expecting it. And it's very easy to whiff. This is the easiest shit. I can stand still, it will whiff. And just, you know, launch it. After one electric, even on block, expect the second one. It's very easy punish if you're expecting it. Optic doesn't reach, or whatever. Because this is a mind game situation with double electrics. You have to be expecting a second one. If he doesn't do it and does a Waifu mix-up, then he's taking a lot of risk. And that's already good enough. CKK skin, oh, thank you. Okay. I talked about electric on block, right? Yeah. Most of the time that's what's gonna happen, double electric. If he does jabs and stuff, they're too far, it won't work. The only time you have to be kinda afraid of electric on block is when you're at the wall. Something like this. Fuck. Right? This is like close range +5. I would be kinda afraid here to press or do anything. But at the wall, not a lot of Kazuya players use this as pressure. But if they do, you can just sidestep block, which is like one of the best options you can do. Because if he does side electric into electric... Wait. unless the angle is weird, you will be able to like go away from the wall slowly but surely, as you can see. If not, just sidestep the electric. Fully, wait. But if the angle is weird, you will get caught. Wait, let me make the angle weird. Stop, guys, stop. Stop electricking. Like, this is not a bad angle. Wait. Fucking stop it. I want to sidestep a bit more. But you have to be careful when doing that. You see that? Like, depends on the angle. Not bad angle. Yeah, I fucked up the angle there. I had to make it a little bit there. But yeah, as I said, you have to like mind the angle for double electrics. But that's like the only time it's scary. But sidestep blocking is a good option. You can do a dig jab, decent option. Because you can't really do a mid check that's like scary there. That'll wall splat you. Oh, they can do this, which will be dig jab, but it's like a mind game. Basically, it's like a +5 move at the wall. Which is scary. Like, this is the only time plus frames of electrics are scary. At the wall. There's basically a mind game after it. Double electric, maybe a mix-up, maybe something else. It's a mind game. Which a lot of characters have. Okay. What else? Talked about electric already. I think I talked about electric enough. Like, electrics are great check tools in general, but not a lot of people will use them like that. For example, I sometimes like using electrics after like -6, -7 moves to check people. But I'm not too used to it, but I'll try to do them. Okay, that's electric. Now let's talk about forward 4 and down back 4. Forward 4. So, in general, forward 4 is a plus frame move, right? Like this, +4. It's pretty scary to press here, because the Kazuya player might do down forward 2. Because if you do press, this happens. Kazuya player good enough, perfect electric, you're gonna get fucked. But there's also one other thing. You have to force the Kazuya player to use this or an electric. You have to force them to use it somehow. That's why I sometimes recommend do pressing after it. Because you're annoying the Kazuya player a lot when you press it. Like, press once, for example, they do this into Weiwu Hell Sweep, right? They try to do this. Press once, something like this. Like, wall standing 2 of Armor Kings is a pretty good option, for example. Gotta get 1,000,000 damage from this. And after that, the Kazuya player will have in their head, oh, I have to check them now. I can't use the plus frames. And the thing is, Kazuya's checks are pretty bad because it almost always leaves him at a disadvantage, no matter what he does. He does a back 2, he's -8. Down forward 4, he's -9. And these are his best mid checks. Not to mention, if you're on P2, actually, this is very important, the P2 side. He does this. Wait, on a certain angle, it becomes steppable. Sometimes it will track you. I'm pretty sure this is because of Armor King. Armor King step is a little bit iffy. But on a certain angle, even with Armor King, you can step it. And it's the same with back 2. And it's a P2 exclusive thing. Yeah, back 2 is very, very consistent. Unlike down forward 4. When you sidewalk it, pretty easy. On P1 you can't do something like this. But then it becomes something else. What can I say? Like this kind of mix-up. If they try something like this... Whoa, where's my good electric? No! You just have to time it correctly though. Wait. I'm trying to do it fast. Okay, did I do it correctly? Yep. Now that becomes a thing. Kazuya main. I know, right? Now I understand main man's YouTube curse. See this? Now this becomes a mix-up to the sidestep. Unless something like that happens. Which is still an option. Like, this is what's most likely gonna happen. Unless you're very close. So even in this situation, you can step the electric. You see this? So sidewalk right isn't that bad of an option, even though you're on P2, right? It's not that bad. This will whiff, this will sometimes whiff, sometimes it'll catch you, but it's still pretty decent. Down forward 1 will catch you, for example, but not a lot of people will use down forward 1. And Kazuya player does have this option as well, but also gets stepped. So sidestep right, or most of the time sidewalk right, is a decent option. Pretty decent option. Like mix that up with maybe a backdash sometimes and a button sometimes and you're good to go. Just play the mind game. This is what I would recommend. Most people respect without playing the mind game. If you respect it too much, the Kazuya player will abuse it and mix you up continuously. Have to make the Kazuya player like respect you just as much as you respect him, basically. What about down forward 3? Down forward 3 is too slow. Not a lot of people use it, but it will catch a sidestep. Never mind, it will not. I thought it would. Never mind. That's a pretty good option. Pretty good option. Don't tell how to play this, Kazuya. Hey man, what can I say? I'm doing my thing here, my speed lab. Okay. That's about that. Now I have to down back 4. I talked about forward 4. On hit, of course, you have to respect it more or less. You can't really do anything. You can, of course, still press, because they might go for a Hell Sweep mix. Like, the thing is, with Kazuya, if you're playing against the Kazuya, he's one of the characters you can mash against very easily. Very, very easily, because the Kazuya player normally does not want to go for a down forward 2. Or any fast mid checks, so mashing is not that bad of an option. But yeah, now after down back 4, it's very important to know what to do after this as well. After this, one of the best options, in my opinion, is do a backdash into a duck. Because they will either do this, right? And force a mix-up instantly, which you will duck with a backdash duck. Something like that. They might do forward 3, but if you do a backdash duck, you'll be able to block it in time. Like that. If they do down back 4 into down back 4, you'll block it just like that. The only weakness to this is if they do a down back 2 instantly. This will catch you. Now this is a weakness. But of course you have options for this as well, because one of the good options you can do after down back 4 is also a sidestep to the left. So after this, if they do something like this, a Hell Sweep or anything like that, sidestep left will just, fuck it up. Or sidewalk to be safer, in my opinion. Same with down back 2. As I said, it beats a backdash into duck option, but if you sidestep it, you get a free launch. Of course, they might check you with like 1-2s, which will catch your sidestep left, right? This will catch it. But you have to force them to do this. If you don't force them to do this, you're gonna be like wave dashing your face into mix-ups. Infinite mix-ups. If you don't force the Kazuya player to like check you, you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have to force the Kazuya player to do this, because they're garbage. Basically garbage. They're not good. That's why no one wants to use them. Or else everyone would be spamming the checks, but they're not that good checks. You have to make them use it. He's betraying us. I'm sorry, boys. I'm sorry. But yeah, so the options you have, one of the best ones in my opinion, is a backdash duck. It's pretty good. Or a sidewalk left. And hold on, thank you for the follow. But yeah, a sidewalk left gets beaten by this, because this is a very good option for that. And sidewalk right will get beaten by this as well, unless you're a little bit far like this. Excel, thank you for the follow. But yeah, I have to force them to use this. Force them to do this, this, and this, because they're garbage moves. Okay, that's about down back 4. The best options, as you can see, is backdash to the duck. Backdash duck also beats this. Because you do a backdash first and a duck later, you won't be getting hit by this. Fast mids will not work. It will also work against this. Because it's fast enough for you to block it, punish it, before the duck comes out. Very good. backdash duck. One of the best things you can do. But, as I said, it's a mix-up. They might start wave dashing in your face if they see you do this. They might start doing this. Stuff like that. Okay. Down back 4, forward 4. I covered that. Down back 3. Should I cover down back 3? Yeah, might as well. No one is using this normally, but I think this is very good. Down back 3. For Kazuya players out there, I think Kazuya players should use this a bit more because this has a decent mind game to it. So what mind game this has? This is -3, not -3. -3 would be very bad. -1. So the thing is, after this, a lot of people like sidestepping. And what I do is do while staying 1+2. Which catches steppers, just like as you can see. Even though it's nerfed, it's still decent enough to use. Right? But then the mind game begins. It's like, when I'm doing this, I'm telling them to stop sidestepping. This is like, safe as well, right? Even if they backdash, it's fine. Go back to neutral. A little bit disadvantage, fine, whatever. Play defense. But then they start playing a mind game. They might do something like back 1 to counter hit you, for example. Armor King's good option against this is back 1, which will counter hit it. Or a magic 4 if you had it. If you have it, you can try that. It's a good option. But then something like this, or a dig jab, will trade. Some may not get a combo, like some magic 4s will not get a combo here. Or a down 4 or a dig jab beats all that because they're highs. Then the mind game begins with like him low parrying, the Armor King playing low parry because the low might be coming, or trying a down forward 1 because he wants to check you. So it's like, it's a pretty decent mind game in my opinion. But I already said about the mind game, and I already said how to beat some of the options. Like low parry, the dig jab down 4, down forward 1 check is pretty good normally if they want to press. Back 1 if you want a higher reward for more risk. Stuff like that. And sidestep if you're thinking like the while staying 1+2 is not coming. But if it is, you're gonna get caught. So yeah, that's the down back 3 mind game. What else? After this right here, most of the time you should be expecting this. And as Armor King, I would suggest doing this. This is a very good option for Armor King. Parry this shit. All Kazuya players do this, right? So just parry it. Parry this shit. It's risky. I'm not saying it's not risky. Because if a Kazuya player says like, not says, but notices this, I sometimes notice that, right? Sometimes they parry me. I do a 4-4-3 immediately after this. Parry, that's a punish. Right? So you have to be careful with it, like don't overuse it.
Activate my credit card!
Oh, Bitcoin, thank you, man. Big thank you. 369. Nice. Nice. Big thank you, man. But yeah, if you have a parry, like a punch parry or any kind of parry, you should be parrying this. So they don't abuse this. Because normally you can't really do anything about that. Unless you power crush. You can actually power crush this. Right? Not a lot of people know, but you can power crush this. You have a full crouch power crush though. I tried to crouch cancel power crush. Okay, I'll demonstrate it with the Rage Art because they have the same kind of startup. See that? Works. If you have a full crouch power crush, you can power crush that as well, like Anna for example. Anna can do that. What else? Just down 1+2, I covered electric more or less. Simply. Waifu mix up, most of the time you should be sidestepping, but if the Kazuya player just realigns, there's nothing you can do, just to guess. Of course you can duck and just stand up, like duck a little bit and then stand up just in case a slow mid is coming. But what I like doing about those kind of people, like that do that, like duck a little bit, stand up, is doing slow lows. So it's a mix up no matter what you do, unless you mash. Which I recommend. I'm actually gonna recommend mashing. If a Kazuya player likes doing mix-ups a lot, literally after everything, like doesn't matter, after this, I recommend mashing. Mash a hop kick. Mash a damn hop kick. It will work. You'll get a free launcher most of the time. Power crush launcher on block versus guys. Yeah, Anna's power crush is launch, yeah. But Anna also has a parry. That's a better option. You're too scared to mash for styles, but it's sometimes important to mash for some, gotta be honest. it is important because you have to force him to use down forward 2 or down forward 4. I talked about that already. You have to force him to use those. If you don't, he's gonna get way too comfortable. Way too comfortable. And the comfortable Kazuya is scary. Very scary. Because he's gonna wave you in your face, hell sweep like 3 times in a row, and you're like, what the fuck do I do to this? Okay, what else? I talked about that. Talked about this. There are some tech traps as well. I personally like the jumping tech trap, but that's not character exclusive. Everyone does it. Like, wait, let me try it. Like this into jump into dick jab. I like doing that sometimes. The way you deal with it, wait. Like that, right? The way you deal with it is mostly stay down or delay your tech roll. Although delaying his tech roll is kinda risky, but staying down or rolling is one of the best. Okay. Now what? How to deal with ultimate tackle. Nah, don't need that. I talked about this. Don't need to literally know about this. I'll just tell you the frames. This is kind of a mix-up. It's minus 11, just like that. But it also has a follow-up. So if you do try to punish it, you'll get counter hit into a free electric. So it's a bit risky. But yeah, it's not a lot of Kazuya players will use this because it's a little bit iffy to use. Although I'm kind of experimenting with it, gonna be honest. Devil? Oh, I can do Devil as well. A rage situation. Oh yeah, I'll tell you the setups. Wait. My favorite setups. So, the very common setup. This setup. You'll counter them very easily with a tall framer, but this is a setup. Because it will not beat with a down forward 1. But the thing is, as this power crush is so shit, you'll be able to block even after this. But this is the setup. So don't do something like this, right? Most of the time they do it at the wall. That's a setup. Most of the time at the wall, like this situation. This shit. They do wall standing 3, you block it, they're gonna do this. Setup. Okay, another setup. This is my favorite one, this. I'm literally saying to every Kazuya player ever in existence to start using this. Now I'm telling literally everyone that I'm using this. Am I dumb, guys? I might be dumb. Down back 2 into TP. Legendary setup, boys. Look at that. Look at that. Can't even sidestep it. Yeah, I could sidestep it there. But look at that. Can't sidestep it. Legendary setup. But that's a setup. Armor King has a great option for it. Right? Which is a wall standing too. So Kazuya, I would not recommend Kazuya players to use this against like people who have like countered launchers from wall standing. Like Lars, for example. Or Armor King, as you see. But since it's minus 9, a lot of people do this. Right? Or sidestep into buttons. So that's why this works so well. They think, oh, I'm plus 9. I'm gonna go in, enforce a mix-up. That's what they're thinking. They're gonna go in or sidestep and enforce a mix-up. And then boom, Twin Pistons. Just hits him. Legendary setup. But yeah, that's a setup. Know about it. Love it. Don't deal with it because I'm gonna use it against you. Okay. What else? What other setups? I guess that's about it. He doesn't have many setups. There are some setups like people use 4-4-3 on block as a movement setup. Because this on block is minus 3. And when people mash here, Kazuya players use movement to make that something whiff and then punish it, like backdash electric. That's like a flowchart kind of thing setup. I don't know how to call it. Like 4-4-3 on block and something like this, right? So 4-4-3 is like a button bait sometimes, so I would be careful mashing there. But sometimes you have to mash, it's like a mind game. Never switch character mid-set. The thing is, Potato, I think switching wasn't that bad of an idea, gonna be honest. Okay. Let's get back to it. What else? 4-4-3, I covered that. There's like a movement-based mind game there. If you press, they might like try to make it whiff into a button. Like electric, they'll launch you for it. If you do a high crush, that might be a decent option. But they might press anyway because it's only minus 3. Yeah. What else? Rage option and Devil, I think, right? Yep. Rage. So Kazuya with Rage. This is the scariest Kazuya. Talk about sidestep 3. Sidestep 3. I mean, I love sidestep 3. But yeah, let's talk about it, sure. The thing about this move is, me personally, I don't see how I can use it that well. But you can use, Kazuya player may start using it as a keep out tool. But most of the time, its range isn't that good. Look at that, it looks like this will hit. It doesn't hit. It does not hit. It looks like this should hit. It does not. So backdashing out of this and punishing it is a good idea, or sidestepping it. Sidestep left works against it. But normally, it's not that scary of a move unless you run into it. Like literally run into it, because it's pretty slow. 23 frames. And doesn't track well. Its range isn't that good. It's not a mix-up because it's that slow. Sometimes you can duck it, because it's scary, you know, Kazuya's scary. Sometimes you just duck randomly, thinking Hell Sweep is coming, you may get caught, but it's not that scary. And yeah, Rage Me situation. Like Kazuya with Rage, scariest Kazuya ever. Because this and this, you can't do literally jack shit about this mix-up. Jack shit, you can't do anything about this. So that's why I would suggest normally, if you do get knocked down when Kazuya has Rage, most of the good options you can do is staying down or rolling to the left, just like I said at the first time. When I was talking about the Hell Sweep situation, I said that side roll left is one of the best options, and against Kazuya with Rage, that's also one of the best options. So yeah, it's pretty good. The Amsterdam thing is pretty almost full. Dude, you have no clue what you missed, man. Potato, you have no clue what you missed. Yeah, let's not get distracted. Let's talk about this shit. But yeah, as I said, rolling is one of your best options. You do get knocked down, but in the neutral, just try to sidestep it and avoid doing jab checks. Like if you do jab checks against the Kazuya with Rage, you risk getting Rage Drive because it has high crushing. Like this, right? You risk this if you do a jab check. So that's why I would not suggest doing any kind of high, to be honest, against Kazuya that have like Rage. It's just scary. What I would suggest is either stepping most of the time, just step to the left, like expecting the Rage Drive, or just backdash a lot and, you know, stuff like that. Gotta play defensively, or as I always say against Kazuya, mash. Mashing is a little bit scarier against Kazuya with Rage because Rage Drive is so fast, but mashing is not a bad idea. Like, I know I'm betraying all the Kazuya players out there, but mashing is not a bad idea against the character, what can I say? Okay. Unless they start spamming electrics. But then you have to go back to the electric mind game I talked about earlier. The keep out electric mind game. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, the devil form. So, Kazuya devil form. This isn't that... It won't happen that often, but most of the time, he is a walking 50-50. He is one of the best characters in the game. I don't know if he's better than Akuma, like Akuma's that bullshit. But if not for Akuma, he's absolutely the best character in the game. Devil Kazuya. There's this, electric mid, and this, it's a real mix-up. Not to mention, this is a real thing. Fuck, where's my electric, man? I can't do it! So I'm trying to do it really fast. Oh fuck, I forgot. Transform. Oh my goodness. There you go. This is a real thing, right? So it's very scary to duck. They're all just mix-ups. So he's a walking mix-up. But, as I always say, I said this like 3 or 4 times already. One of the best things you can do against him is mash. Which I don't think you can like... I don't think I need you to tell. You need me to tell you this, because a lot of people when they say devil, they mash like a madman. They're so fucking scared, right? And ironically, it is one of the best things to do. Because whenever Kazuya players in Devil, they want to enforce a mix-up. They always... I just slipped on my tongue. I'm talking too much, man. What the fuck? But yeah, the Kazuya player always wants to enforce a mix-up. Goes Hell Sweep, goes Electric, stuff like that. Like, use forward 4, maybe tries a Hell Sweep immediately after. So if you mash, it will work. So that's why mashing is that bad of an idea. But if the Kazuya player is patient, which they kind of should be, they should be expecting a mash, it's a little bit more riskier. But yeah, Devil Kazuya is just scary in general, what can I tell you? It's one of the best characters in the game. If you don't count Akuma, he is the best character in the game. Okay, that's the situation on Devil. And let's see if I forgot anything. Forward 4, down back 4. Oh yeah, I should talk about this as well. This right here. This mix-up. So this and this. Some Kazuya players may use this as a mix-up, right? The best thing you can do is a fuzzy duck, which is possible like this. As you can see, I'm doing like ducking both the high and blocking the mid. But this is hard to do in a real game, right? It's possible, but it's hard to do. Of course, you can react to the ducked high like this and punish them like this. So, normally, unless you can do this consistently in a real game, it's hard to do. It's not easy to do. Especially in a real match, when you have hell sweeps to worry about and stuff like that. It's not easy to do, and you might get hit by the mid. But normally, I would suggest this. If you want to duck it, duck only at the neutral, outside of the wall. And do not duck at the wall. Because if they do this, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So never duck at the wall, even if they do down 4, down 4. It's fine. Just go back to neutral. Maybe low parry because... Oh, that's also a setup. Wait. So this big jab, that's also a setup. Not a setup, but a flow chart of Kazuya's. Because this -3, they like to continue pressure. So maybe low parry after this. Maybe sidestep after this. Stuff like that. But yeah, general rule, if you want to try to duck the down forward 4, down 4, down 4, duck it in the neutral, not at the wall. General rule. 1 to 4, 3 into dick jab. If a miracle happens and 1 to 4, 3 doesn't get low parried, yeah, that's also... It's also something. This is the dick jab. Because the thing is, this is also like -2, right? -2, yeah. Oh, I can't low parry, too far. There you go. Okay. Talked about... I'm pretty sure I talked about everything. Talked about this. Forward 4. I don't even need to talk about this. Only thing I can tell you about down forward 2 and forward 4 is that on the hit you can actually mash there. A lot of people mash and it works out. On hit, by the way. On block, of course, you can continue pressure, but I would just suggest checking it most of the time. Because, for example, sometimes they use the -9 too much. And if the Kazuya player does this, they'll get counter hit. Like, Armor King does this, it's a counter hit. So sometimes check him. Okay. Back to 4 and back to 1 mix-up. That's a funny one. That's actually a funny one. I should start using it in ranked. Yeah, Martin, I saw the character redemption, by the way. I didn't ignore you, I'm sorry. I just was concentrating on this. I'll do this after this. I'll do the character redemption. Yeah, I think that's it. Did I forget anything, guys? Did I forget anything? I don't think I forgot anything. This is just a mix-up. Punish this. It's -12, I think, or -11. Yeah, that's it. Up forward 4 mix. You have the up forward 4 hell sweep, or the up forward 4 mix. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you guys for watching on YouTube, and I'll see you guys later.